Hello traders and investors, this is a short video, a help video on the chart game. Chart game is a live trading platform for testing purposes, if you will, specifically for Neoclassical, which is what happens here at Technical Analysis today. So if you want to learn about Neoclassical, if you want to use those principles, the chart game is a great way to do that. In fact, we use the chart game to teach the mentorees who are learning to be a mentor and learning how to trade neoclassically. So how do you get to it? Well, you go to the tools menu, and from there you can see chart game. You click on it, and once you click on it, what it's going to do is it's going to pop up the chart game. And to start it, there's a few administrative type actions that you can use. You can create a new game, you can view existing games, you can delete existing finished games. Let's create a new game. There's also a chart help which actually gets you to this video. If you click on new, you'll get a new game, and essentially what you're getting is you're going to get a chart, and that chart is going to give you the neoclassical principles associated with the well, not all of them, but a large portion of them. They're associated with neoclassical model. So in other words, you're going to see support, you're going to see resistance, you're going to see swing points. You'll be able to determine your retest and regenerate zones based on those swing points. For example, here's a swing point high. Your retest regenerate zone is that green area that you see just below current price. And so as it pulls back into there, you would expect a test of that holds to be bullish. And so all these things give you information about what the market wants to do, because the market is really just a series of tests. And those tests, as they take place, allow you to see the percentages of those trades, whether they'll succeed or not, and what your percentage probability is for them to succeed or not. You want to use the probabilities in your favor. So if you know this is a retest regenerate and you see price come into that area, then you can take a low entry buy. You can have a stop right below it. You can wait and see how it attacks it, if volume expands or not. And if it doesn't, you have a good probability if the general market and if this stock on the weekly and monthly look bullish as well. You can also look at the trading cube, and you can see what kind of mean time to failure, and you can see what the general market and the sector look like for this stock. That gives you the majority of what you need to effectively trade neoclassically. So once you click a new and you get a new game, what you'll notice is you won't know what the stock is. You'll see the time frame in terms of dates, but you won't know what year it is. So you won't know the stock, you won't know the year. You can view it on the weekly, and you can view it on the monthly as well. So you can see the stock's pretty bullish. It went up, tested a high, it's pulling back. And if you view it on the monthly, you can see on the monthly, there it is also breaking out to a new high. So this looks kind of like a young gun, right? Because it doesn't have 5 years of data on the monthly. So kind of a young gun stock, strong, pushing up on the daily, pushing up on the weekly, pushing up on the monthly. Knowing all of that, you know more than likely what you want to do here is buy the retrace. That's the go-to buy here. Now, what it just did, if we're looking at this particular stock, is we see it went under, back over, had less volume as it pulled back towards that swing point high. This may be the area to take part of that position. So because your probabilities are not great yet, you don't have the retest, but because this is a very strong stock and you can see that, probably what you want to do is buy some percentage of it. And so if you want to buy a percentage of it, what you do there, and let me get this a little bit larger so we can pull up. What you do there is you buy just a percentage, not the whole thing. And so if I go to the percentage, it will drop down. You see 10, 20, and you can go all the way down on 10 increments, although it's kind of off the chart here on the screen. You can go off those and you can buy percentages. So I'll pick 30%. And so I want to buy 30% of what money I have, and the money I have is right here, the cash balance. I want to buy the next bar, and I'm going to buy it on the open. And so here's the next bar, and it's about where it was. And so as you can see, not much happened. We have just a little bit less money than we did to start with. It's a little bit lower. And so at this point, I know where I want to buy again. So in other words, I want to buy this retest regenerate as long as that looks bullish when it comes back to it. And so if I continue to just move along, so I'm just going to hold, I'm not going to do anything different. And it's still struggling, kind of trying to come back, but hasn't yet. And you just keep working through this. And as you can see, we didn't get to the retest regen, and now it's starting to push up again. So now, neoclassically, if you know the rules, and how you learn those rules, of course, is becoming a member of the site, joining the community, and then applying to the mentoring program that's here. And so if we go to, let's see here, if we go to this part of it, the services, well, actually, I can't do it because I don't want to pop out of this, so I'll just stay here. But you can go up to the screens up there. You can see the mentoring program. You can look into that. But essentially, it's a one-on-one mentoring program with someone who has been mentored and is there at your beck and call, right, to teach you all the principles in the neoclassical model. So now that it's pushing up, what I would want to do myself is I'd want to look at this and say, okay, this is going to be the hard part to get over. And we're almost there. And so as it gets into that test, if it can't get over it, maybe I take a little bit of what I have off, or depending on how it hits it, if it hits it with more volume, which it's hitting it with pretty good volume, then I just simply leave it on. So I'm going to hold, see how it attacks it. Ah, look at that. It attacked it and gave it up, right? So you go into that price, you can't get over it, and you give it up, and volume expands. This is not a good thing. And now notice where it came back to, a full retest regenerate on that swing point high. That price point over there is 1882. This thing traded to 1886. The low is 84, stopped at 86. It's within 6 bars of the breakout. That swing point high was broken here. That's 1, 2. Actually, it's not. It's, no, I take that back. It is, it's the second test. This bar here tested it once already. And I'm going to just point that out as we go. And here's the second test. So our probabilities have dropped to 60+%. And so at this point, I certainly don't want to add any more because we came back with volume. If anything, I would be trimming, but since we only have 30%, and since we know the weekly and monthly still look pretty good, we'll just hold it and see how it trades to the next bar. Ah, look at that, right back the other way. And so you can get a feel for how this works, how you would trade based on the probabilities that you have offered to you. And again, it's going to make a lot more sense once you understand how those probabilities work. And matter of fact, if you really want to understand them, you can simply go over to the, let me see here. I guess I don't have it up on this screen, but you can go over to Amazon. You can get my books. Trend Trading Setups is the third book. Trend Qualification and Trading is the second book, which lays out the model itself. Now, as this takes place, all of your statistics get updated. If you want to finish the game, in other words, you want to move on to another one, you just click that. If you want to, and that's the whole game. If you want to just a new chart, just start a new chart up. In other words, the game's still going on. You still have the same amount of money. You can open up a new chart and you can leave that one. And so as you open up the new chart, you see at this point what you were trading. And in this case, it was MMS, and it was from this time period to that time period. So you can see when it was. And now you can continue and you move on to the very next chart. And that chart allows you to start all over again. So you'd have to look at your weekly, monthlies, look at your trading cube, decide if you want to do anything or not. The fact that you closed that other chart, actually, that you started a new chart, that closed out that position that you had, that 30%, and gave you a new one. If you finish the game, that will end this entire game, however many charts you've looked at, however long you've played. You'll have those statistics in your view statistics up here, and you'll be able to start a new game if you want to. Essentially, that is the essence of this. The only other things that are interesting, and I'll just, without looking at things here, I'll just buy this stock. Once I do that, I can hold it, I can add to it. I can sell it, or I can reverse my position. In other words, I can flip around and go short. And so let's just do a reverse that flips me around. Now I'm short and I'm 100%, right? And I could do this in increments no matter what I choose to do. Those are the trade types that are available to you. And as my model suggests, and as I describe in the books, and of course the mentors would teach you, there's only two types of trades, folks. There's retraces and there's breakouts, and everything else is a derivative of that. What you really want to do is you look at your daily, you look at your weekly, you look at your monthly, you see what this chart looks like, you look at your trading cube, your MTTFs, and you use all that information to make wise decisions, which if you do it right, you should make money on chart game, and you should make money in the market. That is the chart game.